The officer started smiling the moment the black woman walked into the courtroom. Not a polite smile, the kind meant to humiliate. She stood near the defense table holding a small folder against her chest, dressed simply in a dark sweater and jeans. Mid-40s. Quiet. Nervous enough that her hands trembled slightly when she sat down. Officer Miller noticed immediately and enjoyed it. "She doesn't look dangerous," he muttered loudly to another deputy. A couple people nearby chuckled awkwardly. The woman lowered her eyes and stayed silent. That only encouraged him more. The courtroom hadn't officially started yet. The judge was still absent, leaving the room in that strange period where people thought rules didn't fully apply. Officer Miller walked closer. Slowly, confidently. "You know," he said, "most people at least try to look innocent." The woman looked up at him quietly. "I didn't do anything wrong." Her voice was soft, controlled, but the officer laughed immediately. "Sure," he replied. "That's what they all say." Several people in the gallery shifted uncomfortably, because something about this already felt ugly. The woman tightened her grip on the folder. "You're embarrassing yourself," she said quietly. That hit him harder than it should have. The smile disappeared from his face instantly. "What did you say?" The room went still. The woman didn't look away. "I said you're embarrassing yourself." Officer Miller stepped closer. "Too close. You think you can talk to me like that?" he snapped. The prosecutor glanced over nervously but stayed silent. Nobody wanted involvement. Nobody wanted conflict. And Officer Miller knew it. That's what made him bold. He grabbed the folder from her hands suddenly. Hard. Papers spilled across the floor instantly. The woman gasped softly. The courtroom froze. Because now, everyone knew he'd crossed the line. Officer Miller looked down at the scattered papers with a grin. Oops. A few documents slid across the polished courtroom floor. One stopped near the bailiff's shoes. The bailiff bent down automatically to pick it up, then paused. His expression changed immediately. He looked at the document again, longer this time, then toward the woman, then slowly toward Officer Miller. "What is it?" the officer asked impatiently. The bailiff swallowed hard. "This says," he began quietly, "Department Internal Affairs." Silence. Heavy. Officer Miller frowned. "What?" The woman calmly stood up from her chair. No panic, no anger, just calm. The kind of calm that suddenly changes the entire room. She stepped forward slowly while the bailiff handed her the document back carefully. "You really should have read the folder before throwing it," she said softly. The officer's face tightened, confused at first, then worried. The woman reached into her jacket pocket and removed a badge. Not quickly, not dramatically, just enough. The room stopped breathing, because everybody recognized it instantly. Internal Affairs. Officer Miller stepped backward automatically. "That's impossible." The woman looked directly at him. "No," she replied calmly. "What's impossible is believing nobody warned you about your conduct before today." The prosecutor looked horrified now. The bailiff avoided eye contact completely, because suddenly every rude comment still echoed through the courtroom. Every laugh, every threat. Only now, they sounded career-ending. The woman placed the badge carefully on the defense table. "I was assigned to observe this courtroom after multiple complaints regarding officer misconduct," she explained quietly. Officer Miller's confidence collapsed completely. His hands actually started shaking. The woman stepped closer, still calm, still controlled. "And you failed the observation within 5 minutes." Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. Because there was nothing left to say. Officer Miller opened his mouth, closed it again. The judge entered the courtroom moments later and immediately sensed the tension. But by then, it was already over. The woman calmly gathered the remaining papers while Officer Miller stood frozen near the center of the courtroom. Powerless, humiliated, exposed. And as silence swallowed the room, everyone realized the same thing at once. The black woman he targeted because he thought she was weak had been watching him from the very beginning.